right. Well, Julie, I think Julie and Scott, I'm going to introduce give a brief introduction before we get started. My name's Victoria. I work for the Family Focused Resource Center, and I'm also a parent, like many of you. I'm here with my son, Matthew. Say hi, Matt. And we are happy to today have this presentation brought to us by the State Council on Developmental Disabilities and Disability Rights California. And our presenters are Julie Eby-McKenzie from the State Council and Scott Barron with Disability Rights California. And they're going to be talking about how we can all be ready for emergencies. While we're doing the workshop, I'm going to sort of keep a note of everybody who's attending, because afterwards there'll be an opportunity for you to get a backpack with supplies. So I will keep track of that. And I also just want to reiterate that we are recording this presentation so that we can share it later with people who were not able to watch it in person. And if you prefer to turn off your camera for that, please feel free to turn off your camera. It's perfectly okay.
Would be safe.
Okay. And with that, I will hand it over to Scott and Julie.
Pleasure.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Scott Barron. I'm a peer advocate with the Office of Client Rights Advocacy. The Office of Client Rights Advocacy is a program under Disability Rights California, which assists people that use regional center services. Thank you for having us today. So, what we will learn are different types of emergencies, how to plan for emergencies, and what to do in emergencies. Next slide, Julie. Now we're going to watch a video on preparing and why preparing makes sense.
Oops.
Every individual can take important steps to prepare for emergencies and put plans in place in case of a disaster in your community. If you have a disability or other access or functional need, you may have to take additional steps to protect yourself and your family.
People with disabilities and people who have access and functional needs have to take a very proactive position in their personal preparedness.
If you think about it, we do it every day. We're ready for the next little disaster that we will face every day.
I always say prepare as if no one's coming to rescue you, because the reality is in a moderate or large event, no one is coming to rescue you anytime soon.
It may be a very short period of time, it may be a more extended period of time, but you need to prepare as if you're not going to have any of the resources that you might typically depend on.
The best way people can start to plan is by looking at the individual parts of their daily lives and figuring out where the potential gaps are.
Doing an inventory of yourself, doing an inventory of the things that you use on a daily basis to be living independently, and then think about what is essential.
Think about the strategies, services, devices, tools, and techniques you use to live with a disability on a daily basis. These may include medications, durable medical equipment, service animals, assistive technology, communication tools, and transportation.
You really have to be focused as to what are your needs if you end up going to a shelter for 4 or 5 days, or if you're stuck in sheltering in place because people just can't get to you. What are the essential things that you're going to need to be able to survive?
As you think about assembling a support team, you need to be thinking about who are the people in your workplace, who are the people in your neighborhood, who are the people in your community, who might be able to assist you.
Go over your emergency plan with everyone in your support network. Make sure that someone in your personal support network has an extra key to your home and knows where you keep your emergency supplies. And teach them how to use any life-saving equipment or administer medicine in case of an emergency.
It's important that you find out in those places where you receive services on a regular basis, you find out what their emergency plans are. Ask them. If you are a person who gets dialysis, what are their emergency plans? If you're a person who uses paratransit services, what are their emergency plans for providing paratransit?
A standard emergency kit includes water, food, and medicine to sustain all members of your household for at least 3 days. Visit ready.gov for a complete list of suggested items, along with recommendations for how to prepare a family emergency plan.
Everybody needs to have a kit, and a kit really needs to have some very basic things in it, some water, some food. But then you're going to want to customize that kit to make sure that it has the things that you need.
Individuals with access and functional needs may want to consider some of the following items: extra glasses or hearing aids, battery chargers or extra batteries, copies of medical prescriptions, supplies for service animals, and necessary medical supplies. Visit ready.gov for a complete list of suggested emergency items for people with access and functional needs.
People with disabilities and access and functional needs are their own emergency managers. They know what they need on an everyday basis. And what my kit looks like is very different than somebody else's kit.
You want to be thinking about what is it going to take for you, both in your home and out of your home, to be able to maintain your health, your safety, your independence for a period of, a few hours to perhaps a few days. Preparedness is actually a 365-day-a-year activity that all of us should take very seriously. It's important that every day we do a little something to keep ourselves as prepared as we possibly can.
The most empowering thing you can do is take charge for yourself during disaster, during the little storms and the big storms. And that's probably the most positive thing you can ever do for yourself as a person. Because that gives you control. That gives you control over the outcomes.
Download this brochure about preparing for disaster for people with disabilities and other access and functional needs from ready.gov. Check out the other information available on the site and get started preparing today.
Types of emergencies. Common emergencies in California: fires, flash floods, earthquakes, and the pandemic. These are all common emergencies that we face in California. Does anyone else have any other examples? We can think of any other example?
And
Greg?
a pandemic.
Yeah, the pandemic. That's correct.
What about water? That's
Thank you
called
for
a
sharing.
water outage.
Power outage.
Power outage.
Power outage, yeah. Mhm.
Thank you. Prepare to prosper. What is most important to you? Family, friends, pets, activities, other things. What else? What are some things that will help you prosper in an emergency or help you take care of yourself in an emergency? What about some extra clothes?
Mhm.
I can think of one.
Yes.
Strategies to keep calm.
Strategies to keep calm. What strategies would you recommend to keep calm?
Breathing.
Breathing, that's a good one. Anything else?
I think that's individual. So that might be a good idea to think ahead as to what keeps each individual calm.
Yes, and you can also make that part of your plan when you develop it, and we'll talk about that a little later.
Yes.
Next slide, Julie. Oh. So some of the things to talk about to prepare to prosper. What is the most important for you? What keeps you safe? And what things you need for your day-to-day life. So what's important for you to have in an emergency?
Food, water, medical supplies.
Insurance card. How about some extra money?
Oh, good
That's a
idea.
good idea.
How about supplies for your pet? How about what keeps you safe? What things keep you safe in an emergency?
You put on your medicines?
Medicine?
Masks.
Masks. That's good. PPE, that's important, especially right now.
Shoes, yeah, shoes are important.
Extra pairs of shoes.
Maybe gloves.
Clothing.
Maybe different types of shoes.
Clothing, extra clothing to change into.
Extra clothing.
Yeah.
The toothbrush.
How about
Take it with you.
Yeah.
Tell him.
uh,
Tell him out loud. Toothbrush and toothpaste.
Toothbrush and toothpaste.
that's good.
Yeah.
Toothbrush and toothpaste. That's very good. So you can keep up your dental hygiene in case of an emergency. It's very important. How about things we need for our day-to-day life to keep us safe? We mentioned medication before. How about some medical equipment like extra, maybe an extra wheelchair or an extra walker?
Oxygen.
Oxygen. Very good. Anything else?
Like diapers if it's a little kid, like their favorite stuffed animal or favorite blanket.
Yeah, diapers, stuffed animals, blankets. Extra
Did anyone
blankets,
say medicine?
medicine?
Yeah, medicine,
All very good answers.
bandages and stuff. Yeah.
Next slide, Julie.
Did you sneeze? Okay.
You want to think, you want to be prepared for anything. I'm planning for small things. Help us plan for big emergencies. Transportation issues, your water main breaks, you're stuck in the house, your phone dies. What else is a big emergency?
You are in quarantine.
Yeah.
Quarantine, that's a real big emergency. And so since you're in quarantine, what do you want people to help you think about?
Maybe how to get food.
What types of things do we need to think about since we're in quarantine? How about how to get food? How to get water?
Going to the doctor.
Going to the doctor?
Avoiding being forced into quarantine without basic supplies.
Basic supplies. So can you tell me some of those basic supplies? What's a basic supply?
Such as food,
Food,
water,
water. What about transportation? And how do we get from one place to another in an emergency? Has anybody thought about transportation?
Cars, bicycles, trains, buses.
Well, and in the event of an earthquake, if you have a tent and a sleeping bag, that might help. If you
Yeah.
can't get into your house.
Fishing poles. Yeah.
Ryan said keep gas in your car.
Keep gas in your car, yes. It's very important to keep your car, filled up with gas. just in case you have to leave town quickly. What about if your phone dies, maybe an extra charger or
A generator.
a generator?
Portable charger.
Generator.
Generator.
Batteries.
Oh, all good answers, batteries, yeah. Several different types of batteries would be good because maybe we have several different devices. Maybe even a backup battery charger if you use a wheelchair. Next slide, Julie. Plan. Decide things you will need. Decide the things that will help you. Decide about transportation. Fix hazards in your home. Make a communication plan. Put together an emergency kit. And decide places you will go if you must leave your house. So we already kind of talked about things you need and things that will help you. What about, and we talked a little bit about transportation. But what about things we can fix in our home to make it safer? What types of things can we fix? How about wiring? Sometimes if we live in an older house, we need to check our wiring. Maybe we need to fix cords so they're not out where we can trip on them. Put together our own emergency kit and decide a place you can go if you need to leave. Has anybody decided a place with their family in order if they have to leave?
House keys
House keys.
and car keys.
Does anybody have an evacuation plan if you need to leave your house?
Yes. We'll go to Preparedness.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's good. So it should be a place where you all agree to meet in case you need to leave, such as a park, a neighbor's house, a family member's house, locations like that. Next slide, Julie. Communicate. Talk to people who support you. Ask them to help you make a plan. Talk to them about how they can help you during an emergency. So who do you guys talk to about emergencies? Who are some people you talk to?
Hey.
Mom and Dad.
Yes.
Say that.
Mom and dad.
Mom and dad.
Let your deep. Staff
Staff
at my program.
and program.
Your
That's
program.
good. Make sure you talk to people that you trust. Somebody that knows you very well, because people that know you very well and can kind of know what your needs are, kind of go look at it from a different angle and help you plan better for different types of things you may need during an emergency. Maybe you talk to a friend or family member that doesn't live with you, that can think about things outside your home you may need. Or maybe you can source some things at their place if that's the place you're gonna meet up in case of an emergency. All good things to think about. Next slide, Julie. And this is filling out the personal safety form. Some of these materials we took from the Feeling Safe being safe training from DDS. And now we're gonna watch a short video on how to put emergency contacts in your phone.
So first I need to apologize. This is the best one I could find and it goes kind of fast. So this will just give you a quick overview of how to put emergency contacts into an iPhone or an Android. We can send you the link to it if you want to watch it, or you can ask somebody to help you.
Got a minute? I'll show you how to set up emergency contacts on your phone. For iPhone, go to the Health app, then tap on Medical ID. Enter your information if desired, plus an emergency contact. Toggle on the Show When Locked switch so the information appears on your lock screen. To see the details, lock your phone, then wake it up so it shows the passcode screen. Tap Emergency, then Medical ID, which shows your contact. For Android users, your phone may have a similar option. Open the Settings app, then look under Device and Users. Tap Emergency Information and go through to add a contact in the tab. To see the details when the phone is locked, swipe up and tap Emergency, then Emergency Information. If your Android doesn't have this option, there are many free apps that will set an ICE or in case of emergency contact. Just search for ICE in the Google Play Store. In San Francisco, I'm Lexi Savides with CNET.
Another thing to remember when you're setting emergency contacts is always make sure you have a few out-of-state numbers in case cell phones go down. Our local towers go down. You can always call out of state and relay information to family members. So it's always good to have out of state contacts in your phone and have somebody designated as the relay person to your family. I know Julia's told me that she has a designated person in her family, I believe, in Texas, right, Julie?
Right, my cousin in Texas.
Yes. And
Well,
also another
had
thing to
their own
remember
emergency.
is if your phone doesn't work, your text feature may still work. So it's always good to try and text, even if you find that your cell phone doesn't work.
So we have this personal safety form. I'm going to click and see if I can get to it. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Looks like it's going to give me a problem. So, there's a form, a worksheet of 4 or 5 pages that the Consumer Advisory Committee for DDS put together. And they've got these different forms to fill out. One is the personal safety form, and we will come to some of the other ones. So I'm going to send the link to that to Victoria Berry, who can send it out to you.
The important people and resources. Find 3 people that can help you in an emergency. That's the bare minimum of people you should find, number of people you should find. 3, it's always good to have
who can help you in an emergency. When I did training on emergency preparedness, the guy who is the head of disabilities and access and functional needs emergency planning for the state of California says that he has 5 people identified.
Yes, 5 people is good because you may want people that help you with different things. Our people may only be available certain times of the day. So it's always good to have a list of people.
The
that are
elevators
willing to
will
help.
be shut down, and you will need someone who can help you evacuate. You might need someone who can help you get somewhere, provide transportation, or someone who can help you talk about your needs when you go to an evacuation center. So it's helpful to think in advance about who those people might be and what kind of help you might need from them. On that form that we will send to you, there's a people who care.
What's the form?
So, can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
I will
Yes.
continue.
All each other. Chances are pretty good we'll be able to reach Texas. I know it sounds a little strange, but just the way the systems work. So we can contact her and she can share information about all the family members with everyone else.
Excuse me?
You want to be sure to put together an emergency kit. Now the picture here is the actual emergency kit that you will receive if you want one. These were supplied to the State Council by the American Red Cross. And they said, we would like you to give these out to people who attend emergency preparedness training. So I took the pack apart and I spread it out and took a photo of it on my coffee table. We add to it hand sanitizer, some face masks, and all of these other things are included in the kit by the American Red Cross. It's an awesome kit. So if you let Victoria know that you want one, you will get that. And that will be the starting place for a kit. So earlier on, we talked about the fact that you will have to think about anything that you specifically need. So do you take medications every day? Do you need to add some of those to your kit? Do you use hearing aids? So do you need batteries for your hearing aids? Do you have prescriptions that you need to make copies of and put into your emergency kit? Is there information about you that someone who's assisting you might need to know? So all those earlier steps about thinking and planning are really about figuring out what goes into your emergency kit and how you will respond to an emergency. Other steps you can take are to make your home safe. Now, if you live at home with your mom and dad, hopefully they've already done all of these things, but you could certainly ask them. So are the tall and heavy pieces of furniture secured? Do you have small things secured with earthquake putty so they don't fly off in an earthquake? Are the electrical cords out of the way of where people walk or roll? And is every exit out of the house clear? And then lastly, Scott mentioned that in older homes, sometimes you might need to get your wiring checked by an electrician. My husband and I owned a house that was 75 years old. It had really old wiring, and so we had to put all new wiring in. You don't necessarily have to do that, but you want an electrician to check it out and make sure that it's safe. Make sure that you have smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. So we all know about smoke detectors. If there's a fire, they make a really loud sound if they detect that there's smoke in your home. In our house, our
What happened?
I'm sorry about that. Apparently we lost Julie. Jude, can everyone hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, we can.
Julie was mentioning about smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. It's always good to have those in your home, and you should change the battery once a year. They say it's good to pick a date once a year that you'll remember, such as New Year's Day or your birthday or a holiday that you'll remember, and change it around the same time every year. And there are detectors that both act as smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. Carbon monoxide is a tasteless and odorless gas that we cannot smell. So it's very important that we have carbon monoxide detectors in our home. And another good thing to have in our home is a fire extinguisher. Who has fire extinguishers in their home?
I do.
I do.
Yeah. It's very important to have a fire extinguisher because some fires cannot be put out with water, such as grease fires, especially in your kitchen. So it's always important to have a fire extinguisher. Does anyone else have any kind of emergency equipment in their home that we haven't talked about so far that you like to mention?
Yes.
Yes. What do you have, sir?
Maybe like some extra food in the garage, like MREs, in case you like say your refrigerator, your lights go off, and that kind of makes a whole bunch of the food bad. Then you'll have MREs just like a meal ready to eat, so you'll already have that in replace of the stuff that you lost.
That's very good. Would you like to explain what an MRE is to those who may not know?
Yes. It is MRE is short for meal ready to eat, and it's like they have multiple different types of them, and for me personally, I like them. And like they have like
and they use those often in the military. What? Thank you for sharing, and it looks like we have Julie has joined us again.
yes, she came back, and you can also get them online.
Hi, Julie.
Hi. I'm late. Sorry, Zoom just died on me. Go figure.
Video or not?
Yeah. Victoria, can you make me co-presenter?
Yes, I will do that. Hold on one second.
Sorry about that, guys. I just was talking away and suddenly Zoom just stopped working. Gotta love technology.
You know, my mouse is being a little temperamental right now. Here we go. Let me try to get up there. I can't get up there to make you co-host.
Got the station moving still. It's one of the advantages of having two people presenting.
That's what I was doing. Oh, it's not working. Okay, bear with me here, Julie.
No worries.
Trying.
You guys have any questions so far or thoughts or?
Okay,
I have a question.
there we go. Now you can do it, Julie.
I have a question. Ma'am.
Okay, so you guys can see it?
Yes, I can see it.
We're gonna put that on the list, check fire extinguisher.
So fire extinguishers, that's where we were at. Make sure that the yellow arrow is in the green zone. And that you have one at least in your kitchen.
Julie.
Our house, we have a 2-story house and we have 3 fire extinguishers, one upstairs, one by the kitchen, and one in our garage. So now we're going to talk about how to respond to emergencies. Sorry, Scott, I just realized that I took over the last part of your thing here. Sometimes 2 of us do it and sometimes 3, and we divide it up differently.
Julie.
Okay, so we're going to talk first about earthquakes.
Julie.
I hear somebody calling my name periodically.
Yes.
Is there a question?
I have a question.
I can't hear you very well.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, what's your question?
The kits. I saw some things that I couldn't quite like make out what they were. Maybe can you explain that a little bit more?
I think it will come clear when you get the kit. You can take everything out and take a look at it all. There's water, there's emergency food, there's a multi-tool, which it can do all kinds of cool things.
Cool.
I can't remember everything that's in it right now. If we have time, we can go back to that slide and kind of walk through it together. So
thanks.
Earthquakes, there's a lot of ways you can be hurt in an earthquake. Your furniture can fall over or it can slide into you. Glass can break. Part of the building might collapse, or heavy or fragile things might fall over. So you want to be sure to secure your furniture. Store heavy or fragile items down low. So if they do fall off, they're not overhead. Make sure that light things are secured with earthquake putty. You can buy it at Home Depot or Lowe's or Amazon. And then really one of the most important things to do is to practice what to do in an earthquake. So every October, there's the Great California Shakeout. Have any of you participated in that before?
Yes.
Practice getting it on the ground or covering. So there's, depending on your situation, there are different things you might do. This top one here, if you're able to drop and cover your neck and get under something heavy like a table, or get next to something big like your couch and hold on to it until the shaking stops. If you use a cane and you're able to get down on the floor, do the same thing. If you use a walker, you want to secure your walker. Make sure it doesn't roll around, sit down, and cover your head and your neck. And if you use a wheelchair, same thing. Lock your wheels, cover your head and neck, and hold on. It's really important to practice these things, because if you don't, you're not going to remember what to do. So do it at the Great California Shakeout and once or twice more throughout the year. House fires. There are lots of things that can start a fire in your house. Leave candles burning.
Cooking.
Hopefully nobody here smokes in bed. That's a big reason for house fires. We talked about bad electrical wiring. Cooking fire if you have a gas stove, or sparks from a fireplace. These things, if they're left unattended, can start a fire. So don't leave things unattended. Blow out candles. Never leave a fire in the fireplace burning without putting it out. If you have a gas stove, make sure that you can see it. And don't ever smoke in bed. You want to learn how to use a fire extinguisher. If you have never tried it, it might be worth it to purchase a cheap one and go outside and practice. Do it with someone who can assist you if you need that. There's a pin that you pull, you aim at the base of the fire, not at the top of the flames, but always down low. You squeeze the lever and then you sweep this hose from side to side. It's not difficult to do, but it's helpful if you can practice it once or twice. Also think about, how will I get out of my house if I need to? Are there two ways out? Though they don't all have to be doors. You could be, it could be a window as well as a door. If you need help getting out, who's going to help you? Is your emergency kit in an easy place to grab? Make sure all the paths out of your house are not blocked so you can access them easily. And practice. You're going to keep hearing that word practice. Practice getting out of your house if there's an emergency, if there's a fire. Sometimes you just can't get out. Don't panic. Shut your door and then stuff things into the cracks around your door, like towels or sheets or jackets or sweaters. Open a window in the room and hang a sheet or a towel or some bright piece of fabric so that people know you were there. Hopefully you grabbed your emergency kit, which has a whistle in it, and you can blow on your whistle. That's one of the best ways to get people's attention. You all know that from
Titanic.
From PE teachers, right? That blow their whistle and everybody stops because they're easy to hear. Sometimes you'll have to evacuate your house. We've had to evacuate ours 2 times because of the risk of fire. So you've already done all this planning, right? So you've thought about who can help you, what you need to do to evacuate. You've got your emergency kit all packed up and ready to go and easy to get. So you will contact people from your list if you have time. And if you are told to go, leave immediately. Grab your emergency kit. And if there are other things that you must have, make sure you have those things too. If you had planned to stay with a friend or a family member, let them know you're coming if you can. If you need to go to an evacuation center, go to the one nearest to you and be ready to tell them what you need. So if you have a mobility device, like a wheelchair or a walker, they need to know that so that they can plan accordingly. And then contact your out-of-state contact person and let them know where you are. So if there are family members that weren't home when you had to evacuate, they can call your out-of-state contact person who can say, oh, John is over at this evacuation center. And then they know where you are and how to reach you. Scott, since I stepped on your earlier slides, do you want to do the wrap up here?
So in summary, hold on. So in summary, prepare to prosper. What's important to you? So remember to think about what's important to you. Those are items, those are things you want to take with you that are important for you. But then you also want to remember what's important to you, which are other things. What are important? What's important to you to live day to day type things? Take steps to reduce risks. We talked about wires. We talked about safety issues in your house. Talk to others about your plans and what your needs are. You might want to get regionals that are involved and get it written in your IPP. It's always good to have a plan in your IPP, as well as talk to your circle of supports and people you trust. Practice what to do. Don't just talk about it. Practice it. Earthquakes, fires, evacuations. You want to practice everything So you're prepared and you just react and you don't really think about it. It just becomes automatic. And that's the summary today. And thank you for joining us. I'm going to leave a survey in the chat box. If you wouldn't mind filling out the survey, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
And please remember, if you would like an emergency kit, they are free to you. We will work with Victoria to figure out how to get them into your hands. Let Victoria know that you want one. Don't put it in the chat box.
You know, I think,
call Victoria.
I think you can just let me know if you don't want one. I'll assume that everybody who attended does want one. Now, I took a list of everyone who's here during the training today. And when you all signed up for the training, there was a place to put in your address. And I'm looking at that list right now. So I see that I have addresses for all of you that are here. There is one person who's participating right now, and your screen name just is 003157. So if whoever that person is, you're going to have to let me know your name. Mr. or Ms. 003157. You can type it in the chat box, or you can send it to me in a private message in the chat box, or you can just tell me your name.
It's Tim Sather.
I'm sorry, what was it? Ken Sather?
Tim, like Timothy.
Oh, Tim. Okay, very good. Sather. S-A-T-H. Got it. Okay, I see you right here. Got it. Okay. Thanks. Okay, so thank you very much.
The way this will work, someone from the state council will probably send you an email or call you to say that they're going to bring your emergency kit by. It may take a little time, so be patient, but it will probably be Chris Arroyo from the LA office who contacts you.
Julia, I'll talk to you about that because maybe we can help you with some of that.
Okay, great. One way or another, we'll work it out.
Yes.
So thanks everybody for joining us. And as Scott said, he put an evaluation link into the chat box. If you wouldn't mind filling that out.
That would be helpful.
Super helpful. I'm going to stop there. And if you have any questions or comments, we have a little time still. So
thank you, everyone.
I saw one person put in a question that I thought was a good question. They said, where should we keep our emergency kit?
I recommend you keep it somewhere you know where it is.
That would be helpful.
By the door. If you have a vehicle, I suggest you keep a separate one in your vehicle as well.
Yeah, somewhere where you can easily get to it, yes.
Yeah. You don't want it behind things. You don't want it up too high. You've got to be able to, I mean, it's okay if it's in a closet, just make sure it's at the front where you can easily grab it and go. Because sometimes when you have to evacuate, you have to do it really fast.
And you also have to keep in mind that you may not be the one grabbing your kit, and maybe somebody else driving it on your behalf. So you don't want them to frantically be looking around for it. You want them to just be able to see it, grab it and go. So that's also important.
Also recommend writing your name in marker on the kit. Because if you end up going to an evacuation center, there may be lots of people who have Red Cross red backpack kits. So you want to be sure that you know that yours is yours, and also the things that you've added in are with you.
They're not right with the same color of the backpack. That should also avoid the confusion too.
Yeah.
You want to make it a bright color.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Well, all the backpacks we will give you are all red. They're all identical. You can certainly move it into a different bag.
That's what I said.
Put a big ribbon on it like they do at the airport.
Yep. You want to say that again?
Oh, like at the airport with the luggage, sometimes people put a big ribbon on it or a piece of tape or something that identifies it to you so you can grab it.
Yep. You could put a luggage tag. If you don't want to write on it, you could just attach a luggage tag with your name.
Good.
Information
That's a
on
good
it.
idea.
And something else about the medications, make sure they're in the original bottle and not just thrown in a Ziploc bag. So people can identify the dosage and the fact that it is your medication. So it's always good to keep medication in the original bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Any other thoughts or comments?
Well, I'll take this moment just to say thank you to the two of you for presenting this important information for us. I'm sure everyone appreciates it. And it's great to see so many people here, and really want to thank you for your time today, Julie and Scott. Thanks again.
Thanks for having us. Sorry about the technical difficulties.
Oh, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
Those
Thanks
happen
for
a lot.
inviting us and hosting.
Okay. Well,
All
thanks
right,
again.
guys.